Look, I want to be honest about this. I'm making a rant on probably my least favorite cartoon I've ever seen, and brace yourselves for this, the Oblongs. Now I know what you're thinking. That's what got you in trouble in the past, ranting about the Oblongs. But, hear me out. If you like the Oblongs, if you think it's one of your favorite shows ever, I totally respect that, okay? I respect your opinion. But, me, I hate that show, and I've hated it ever since I saw it back in, was it 2006 or 2007? And I just want to come clean and do an honest rant. I do not like this show, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say what works and what doesn't. So here we go. First of all, the show's okay for like a satire on South Park and The Simpsons. I mean, yeah, satire was a thing back in the late 90s, 2000s. It was done better than it is now. And I do agree the concept of the rich people, dominating the poor, which is still true to this day, and they can get away with anything because money. It does make for a good premise, but here's the thing. I like mean-spirited humor when it's done right. When it's done like it is in that show, I'm like, no, okay, I can't. It's like, I remember back when the Nostalgia Critic reviewed Little Monsters, he said something at the end along the lines is, I like mean-spirited humor, but when it amounts to nothing, I don't. He said something about, I like mean-spirited humor when it amounts to something, but he said in that movie it wasn't amounted to anything, and I kind of have the same opinions on the Oblongs. Like, the humor is just too mean-spirited. Usually, like Invader Zim, when there's mean-spirited humor, it's kind of funny. Hell, even Matilda, which came out, I believe, 5 years earlier, that did mean-spirited humor better. Like, the whole thing with Principal Trunchbull, yeah, she was a mean, nasty woman. But the mean-spiritedness in that amounted to something. In the Oblongs, it does not amount to anything whatsoever, and I'm sorry, but that does not work for me, and I don't know how that works for anyone else. And then let me get into the worst aspect of the show. The thing that totally kills it for me is those two generic, one-dimensional bullies, Biff and Blaine Oblong. Oh my God, I hate these assholes with a burning passion. I rank them right up there with Wolfgang from Hey Arnold and Dash Baxter from Danny Phantom. I cannot stand these two assholes. They get no comeuppance for beating up the main character, which, usually when someone takes it too far, like in Stephen King stories, for example, the bullies, they're downright despicable and horrible, like Henry Bowers from It, for example, especially in the novel. They're horrible, mean-spirited people, but they get what's coming to them, and it would have worked if they actually got what's coming to them, and they don't. The closest thing they get to a comeuppance is, I've not seen this episode or anything, is Milo retorts saying, oh, they're gay, but that wouldn't really be much of a comeuppance. I mean, yeah, homosexuality was frowned upon back in the early 2000s, but it's not anymore, and I'm sorry, but something bad should have happened to those bullies, like something that, ended them up, or they ended up in the hospital. That would have been nice. Hell, even Mr. Pickles, another show that was on Adult Swim, there was an episode where these bullies kept beating up the main character, but they end up in the hospital. They get their comeuppance. And look, I understand in real life that's not how it goes, but I'm not using this as defense or anything, but it's a fictional TV show. Whatever happens. Where in real life you can't control that, and that's just what kills the show for me is when they have mean-spirited assholes get away with shit like that, and I'm sorry, that does not work. And no disrespect to the creator, Mr. Angus Oblong. Look, I know that's a passion project for you, or it was at point. The Power 4 is a passion project for me, but I'm sorry, when they display mean-spirited crap like that, it's just unenjoyable. It's unpleasant to watch. There's no satisfaction. There's no reward. There's nothing for watching it and not have it and not amount to someone. Like, they had something like this in this Canadian cartoon called Forget About It. I cannot even watch that show anymore because in the first episode, the main character's son gets beat up by these generic bullies. That's what I'm going to call them, because I could call them much worse, but I won't. And he takes up boxing, and do the generic bullies get their comeuppance? No. Or at least they don't show it. And I'm sorry, I hate that crap. And I know I'm turning this into a soapbox, but I'm serious. I'm glad this crap is fading away from, like, stuff, from TV shows and movies. I cannot stand it. I'm sorry, but good God, that is some of the worst, atrocious writing, and how no one ever speaks up about it. It just boggles my mind. But, yeah, I know I waited, 8 years to do a rant on this, but I'm not the disgusting, vile person I used to be, and I'm ashamed of my past, but I tried to make this rant as I could, the best I could, without insulting anyone or coming off as toxic and, a man-child, which I'm fucking ashamed of, but I just wanted to make this rant on this. This is my least favorite show, and again, anybody who respects my show, or respects my opinions on this show, well, I don't know if anyone will respect my show, hopefully they will, but anyone who respects the opinions on this show I hate, I'm fine. You like the Oblongs, that's fine. I'm not dissing you for liking it, but for me, it does nothing for me. It is my least favorite adult animated show. Like, there are a lot of adult animated shows that I've seen and hated, but I can forgive them for it. The Oblongs is one show I cannot forgive them for. That show actually scarred me when I was, 18, 19, whatever, when I first saw it. It made me sick. I'll never forget the first episode I saw. It was the Bucketheads. And I kind of remember part of the episode where Milo gets homemade clothes made by his mother and he wears it in school. He becomes popular. Well, what those two bully assholes do to him at the end it just made me, it made me so angry. Like, when Ben T. Looney did this negative rant on Family Guy, I remember he brought up the whole Bugs Bunny skit where he gets shot horribly by Elmer Fudd. And he's like, that's it, I'm done. Well, something like that happened with me when I saw that episode at the end where the two bully assholes beat up Milo because they were wrong about him or some shit like that. But I'm sorry. I'm glad the show is not on Adult Swim anymore. Yes, it's on Tubi, but I just avoid it. I don't like this show. There's that one show with everyone that they absolutely despise. And unfortunately, the Oblongs happens to be one of those shows that I despise. And if the show ever gets brought back, I will not be happy. But I'm not stopping Mr. Angus Oblong from bringing it back. I just hope the show is done better this time. With today's political correctness and everything, hopefully, like the two bully assholes that they show in the show, they actually get their comeuppance and they get a well-deserved one. And I look forward to seeing that, because that's something I absolutely despised in the show, is when they beat up that poor bald-headed kid and he did nothing wrong to deserve it. Here's the thing. When someone gets beat up and they deserved it, okay, I'm fine. Yeah, like Peter Griffin, Eric Cartman. I'm fine when they get beat up, because they kind of deserve it. But when an innocent character is beating up, no, that's not cool. I'm sorry, but that's not cool at all. And they even had the nerves to do this on Hey Arnold. There was an episode I'll never ever watch again as long as I live. It was called New Bully on the Block. 2 guesses to what happens in that episode and how it ends. I don't even want to discuss it, but you can look up animated atrocities on this on DeviantArt. I don't know, but yeah, I cannot stand it when you have this asshole, one-dimensional bully beat up someone and not get punished or held accountable for it. I'm sorry. That is bad writing, and I don't want to ever see that again. One of the reasons why I won't watch that sci-fi film on Netflix called The Atom Project, there's something similar happens to that and nothing amounts to it. I'm sorry, but that is just terrible. And I'm sorry if I keep ranting about this and going off on a tangent like a madman, but I just cannot stand this kind of writing. I should be banned from literature and TV and movies and whatnot. It's just bad writing. I'm sorry. And it blows my mind that no one finds this bad for bad writing. But anyways, this is the end of my rant. I do not want to piss anyone off. This is just my opinion. I tried to be as calm and rational as possible. And trust me, I am not regressing back to my horrible, infamous days, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. I'm just trying to move on from the past, and I hope everything goes well in the future, but I just wanted to make this rant. It took me probably since 2015, but I wanted to make this rant, and I wanted to get this off my chest. And again, please respect my opinion for for hating this show. I respect your opinion if you like or love this show. But anyways, that's all. Bye.